Divine greetings, beautiful kings and queens, angels, light workers. How are you doing today? I am so excited because I have a very special guest today, Queen Nicole R'Shae, who will be joining us today to share her incredible journey. 12 years plant-based. She has an incredible story, and she loves to share recipes with the world. She is so lively. She has so much energy. I've been really enjoying getting to know her better, and it is such a great honor today to have her come and joining us to share all about her powerful story and testimonial. How are you all doing today? Welcome, welcome. It don't come on live a lot on Instagram, but it's something I've definitely been wanting to do more of. So super excited for this opportunity and to be joined by my beautiful sister. So I think she's going to jump on, or hold on, there's always a learning curve with these things. So thank you so much for your patience. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Uh-oh.
There she
is. Wrong way.
Hi, beautiful. Hi. So good to have you here today. Let me just fix my camera.
Hey, how are you doing, beautiful?
So good. So good to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us today and for being such a bright light for our world, such a bright light of hope and solutions as well. We're all looking for solutions. We're all looking to feel better. Yes. So many people are struggling with their health. So many people are struggling with their weight, and you are there showing us all how it's done with your high energy, with your vitality, your amazing recipes, and you can just feel it, right? We look at you and you're like, whoa, something's going on here, and it's like, you are activated and you are so inspiring to us.
Thank you.
And we just thank you so much for showing up every day with your beautiful, colorful self and recipes and just like bringing it to the world. Like, this is what it's all about. You've been plant-based for 12 years. You're also an actress, and you have a master's degree. So you are so knowledgeable, and you know a lot of different things. And now you're dedicating your life to helping people to get healthy. Queen Nicole also has a podcast, which airs every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, called Plant Based with Nicole. So it's such an honor to have you here today. Thank you so much. And we'd love to hear, what was your journey like? Like, what 12 years ago, what was going on in your life that made you transition and change your whole lifestyle?
I know, right? No. So I had an injury a long time ago, like 20 years ago. And then in 2000, I can't remember the year, but 12 years ago-ish, I had a big flare-up. And I was diagnosed, it was like 3 different things, which I don't always talk about the diagnosis because it all just accumulates to just chronic pain. But I had, tendonitis in my wrist, and then they said something about myofascial pain syndrome and cervical strain, AKA I had pain from my hands, wrists, all the way up to my neck and shoulders, and then it would go on my face, but the face stuff would be more like a sensation and discomfort, not a pain. But and I didn't have it all the time, all at once. Maybe some days it would just be my wrist, some days it would be up in here, some days my face. So I had the flare up 12 years ago, really bad flare up. And a friend of mine, we were just discussing, like, how your diet plays a big part of what happens to you, right? So eliminating different things like animal products can really allow your body to heal itself. So I went plant-based like the next day, cold turkey, didn't think about it, didn't transition, didn't, I just was like, bam, overnight. And then after, I don't know how many, maybe a month or so, maybe I started feeling so much better. And I just stuck with it, because not only did it help heal the flare-up, but I felt so good, you know, just lighter and just free and non-clogged. You know what I mean? Because meat products weigh you down. And I just felt so good. I stuck with it. And 12 years later, I'm still going strong.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And yes, you're right, because all pain, anything that's going on in the body has the same root, right? Like we could name it different diseases, we could name it arthritis, we could name it diabetes, we could name it colitis. Like all of it comes from the gut being compromised, you know, and from having like this undigested food particles in the system that's really creating a lot of acidosis and a lot of toxicity in the body. So, you know, you are a true testimony to that even physical pain, people don't always make the connection between, oh, it might be the food I'm eating. It's just like, oh, let me pop a few pills here and let me, you know, put some cold hot patches here and just try to like take care of the superficial aspect. But really when we get to the root of it, it's like getting down to the root, and it's like, food heals us from everything, and it might be a matter of time. And you know, to those that are watching, you know, it's incredible, and not everybody could do it overnight. So I really commend you for that. It's often like a transition, or you know, let me cut out this and let me cut out that. But also, when we're dealing with such chronic pain and so much, you know, discomfort, that also leads you to just being like, what do I have to do? Like, I'm ready to do whatever it takes to not feel that way. And that's really like what surrender is all about, you know, and it's just like, okay, I surrender and I'm ready to let go of those things that are making me sick. And that's exactly what you did. And so did you experience any like detox symptoms during that time? Was it a smooth transition, or was it, you know, did you experience any challenges in those moments?
You know, when I first went plant-based, I actually did not experience any detox symptoms, any negative detox symptoms, I'll say. Like, I felt detoxish in terms of my bowel movements, like just feeling like I was detoxing and getting all that mess out of my body. But I didn't have any like breakouts or just, you know, I didn't have any negative things. It was just all a positive thing for me. It was just like, I was starting to feel better. You know, the doctors were giving me medicine to take and stuff, and I wasn't taking those. I was doing that. I was doing acupuncture as well. I did it a few times, and I didn't have any negative detox when I went plant-based 12 years ago. So that's a good thing. I just felt better, you know, so I had positive detox symptoms, I guess.
Amazing. That's so amazing. Yeah, a lot of people are kind of afraid too, and you know, some people do experience them, some people don't, and we really don't know. And how has your journey like evolved from the beginning of going plant-based? Like for me, I didn't really know what I was doing. You know, I was having a lot of like the processed cheeses and the processed meat, you know, making my way to more of a living foods lifestyle. And I know that you are super high raw. You've done some raw vegan cleanses as well. So tell us a little bit how the progression was, or right away from the beginning, did you know like how to do it?
So my mindset is so different now. Like when I first went plant-based, my focus was just getting rid of the animal products. It wasn't just about eating to live, right? So I mean, I still ate, I would say, well, when I first went plant, the first month was probably really, really clean. But then once I got the hang of this, I was like, okay, you know, I'm finding out about all this vegan junk food and things like that. So I was eating a lot of that. And my mindset was just making sure I don't eat too many calories. Like it was more so just about trying to lose weight or whatever instead of health, right? So it was like, as long as it is within my calorie budget, back then I used to count calories and stuff, I can eat it, right? So that could be some canned chili or some canned soups and things like that. Just a lot of processed things I was eating. As long as it was vegan, as long as it was within my calorie range. But now over time, I've learned about not just eating to make sure I'm not going to gain weight, but just about eating to live. So, you know, I preach this a lot in a lot of my videos because I don't want to ever come off as though I just eat perfect all the time, because I don't. I call myself an 80-20 plant-based queen. No. So I eat like 80% whole foods, 20% naughty stuff. And it's not every day, it's just whenever I want, right? I allow myself those treats sometimes because I can. But my focus is 80% clean because that's what makes me feel good. And one day maybe I will be 100% long term, but I'm not there right now. So every now and then I let myself have some naughty things, but my focus has been whole foods, clean whole foods. And I also, at this moment, am eating about 80% raw as well. And that changes because my body desires things different times of the year. I don't know why it changes, but I just go with it because I just listen to my body. So sometimes, like this last, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months, I've been eating high raw because that's what my body wants, right? But within that 6, 7 months, there was 44 days I went fully raw because my body said, it's time to go fully raw, eat all fresh foods. So I did that because I listened to my body. I did the 44 days raw. I'm back to my high raw now. But yeah, so over time, my mindset has changed from just, oh, let me just make sure it's vegan to let me make sure I'm eating to live. Let me make sure I'm eating foods that are going to make me feel good. Because when I eat that 20%, it tastes hecka good, but it doesn't make me feel good mentally. And then I always feel like, why did I eat that? Because it was good. You know what I'm saying? And which is why I don't do it all the time. It's just those, you know, special days, like maybe a date night, maybe I go to an event, maybe a Friday. I just feel like, hey, I just want something naughty, you know? But over time, my mindset has changed to focus on whole foods. So my diet consists of, well, I eat more high raw now, right? But these are the things I eat, okay? Beans and rice, nuts and seeds, salads, fruit, smoothies, and ice cream. And when I'm high raw, I'm not eating the beans and stuff as much, you know, unless I'm just putting them on a salad and stuff. But I'm not doing a lot of cooked meals. I don't eat a cooked meal every day. And if I do have a cooked meal, I don't have more than one a day, you know. So that's how my mind has changed over the years. It's just focused on whole foods, things that are going to make you feel good and make you thrive, because the junk food, it's only satisfying our taste buds. Yeah. It does not have any nutrition value. It is not doing anything for our bodies, right? It's just for taste. Whereas when you're eating whole foods and stuff, it's not only for your mind and your taste buds, but it's for your body. It's to help you thrive. It's to cleanse you. It's to make you feel good. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always tell everybody I'm 80-20. So if you see me eating some junk food, don't judge me, because I told y'all I do eat, you know, some junk food every now and then. And I have a little highlight under my bio that says junk food. So you guys can see that I'm not perfect and I don't eat perfect all the time. I'm a real human being that likes healthy food, but I also like junk food too sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Who doesn't? We all do. I love that. It's very healthy, even for me to hear this, you know, because like, thank you so much for saying that, because it's about the long term as well. You know, I feel like if we stretch ourselves too much in a certain direction, sometimes it could be like such a shock to our psyche, to our subconscious mind, that we actually end up reverting back to the meat and the cheese and the you know, that to me, anything that you can stay away from, that is the best. You know what I mean? Even if it is plant-based, it's okay. And, you know, I was raw vegan for almost 3 years, like very, very strict. And I come from a background of eating disorders and all of that. So it was like,
yes, I love your story, girl. You got a story. I got to interview you next.
I'd love to. But now I'm like learning to find flexibility a little bit with my emotional state too. It's like I cleanse. I went through that process, just like you said, you know, when our body calls us to juice cleanse, okay, juice cleanse. When it's time to fast on the raw foods, like do that. And then I think we come to a place where we can listen to ourselves a little bit more and be like, oh, I want that sweet potato, and like, I want that steamed broccoli, and you know, and I think that even doing that is, for me, has been even healthier than almost what I was doing as a raw vegan, eating very high nuts, a lot of dehydrated foods. You know, I was like, oh, but I'm raw vegan, but I'm still not feeling great. And now I'm like, I can have a little bit of cooked foods and I feel better than when I was 100% raw, and doing that like more high fat. So it's like, it's a journey. We all have to learn what works for us and the time. Sometimes we go through stressful periods too, where we need that grounding a little bit more. Sometimes we don't. So like, I love that. And you're painting a very realistic picture to us that, you know, we don't have to be like, quote unquote, perfect. What does that even mean anyway?
Exactly. Don't try to be like other people. You have to do what works for you. Some people, they see people eating a fully raw diet and they're like, oh, I want to do that. But then they keep doing it and they call themselves, they're saying they're failing. But no, you're not failing. You're just making a different choice at that time. So if you're eating raw and then you decide to have some steamed potatoes, that's okay. I always say you didn't sign a contract. You are not doing this for anybody but yourself. So if you feel like eating some doggone steamed potatoes at that moment, go ahead and do that. And it's okay. And then you go back to your raw foods the next day or the rest of the day. There's no contract. There's no right or wrong. It's what you want to do, what makes you feel good, and how are you going to thrive. Don't worry about other people. If people want to talk mess, let them talk. You're not dying for them. You know what I'm saying? They ain't paying your bills. But anyway, sorry. I just want to address Vegan Queen, my girl. She said, what kind of water am I drinking? I'm drinking purified water, hun. And then she also asked, where are you from? I think she said, where's the queen from? So she wanted to know where you're from.
All right. Well, I am originally from Montreal, Canada, but I have my parents are from Egypt. My mom and dad are from Egypt, and we also have Lebanese in us, Palestinian and Syrian, and some Greek. So I'm like a big mix from the Middle East. Yeah, but I speak French. I was born and raised in Montreal, alors je parle français.
Dope.
And I also have been living in Belize over the last almost 20 years now. I moved in Belize in 2005. My baby girl is from there, and and I have dreams of returning back there and starting a holistic community and healing center to anybody who's interested in knowing more about that. I'm hosting a fruit retreat too. Like Belize is so exciting because the fruit, right? It's like once we get on the path, it's like I love what you said about mostly high raw too. I feel like there's so much healing right there. If we're striving for an 80% raw, living foods, high enzymatic diet, we're going to see the change, you know, you're going to have the energy, you're going to feel so good. And then over time, maybe those foods that you were addicted to, not maybe, for sure, like, you know, the high fats and the meats and stuff like that, the cheap, like the pizza, like I used to love pizza, I used to love, and now it's like I don't even want that anymore, you know, like I don't, you know, I just don't crave it because the gut microbiome changes as well as we adopt these habits. The more living foods we incorporate, the better it is.
Right.
So what do you tell people, because I get this question all the time, that it's expensive. Like, do you have any tricks or tools for us to make it more affordable as well? That's like almost the #1 question that I always receive, you know, like to eat that way, oh, you got to have a lot of money and this and that. And there's ways to do it. I have a few tricks, but I'm curious to know how, if you have any idea.
This is what I'm going to say. So is the doctor bills.
Yeah.
So is them Jordans you bought, and them Gucci bags, and them all them clothes you be buying with the brand names. But you don't give a second thought about buying that stuff, do you?
Yeah.
But when it comes to your health, it's expensive. So you got to prioritize and decide what's more important. Should I invest in my health, or should I invest in them Gucci bags and them leather boots or whatever, you know, you choose to buy? It's just about what you because it can be expensive. To me, for me, I find that when I'm eating more high raw or fully raw, my bill is higher because I'm buying more fruit. Fruit is by the pound, so it's heavier. So it just comes out more than if I was eating a lot more like potatoes and vegetables and rice and stuff. But it's just, to me, it's, you can find places that are what do they call them, wholesale.
Yeah.
If you like buy a lot of fruit and stuff, you can find places that are just a lot less expensive, like Walmart or wholesale places. Or you could just have the mindset of, this is my health, I'm investing in my health, so I'm going to buy foods that are going to help me thrive, instead of looking at it. Because I'm like that sometimes with certain things. I'll be like, oh, I'm not about to pay no $20 for a durian. I mean, that's not a necessity. That's like a, but overall, my mindset is, it's my health. Yeah. So do I want to invest and put my mindset and focus on that? Or do I want to eat all this garbage and have a very low bill buying hell of processed canned foods? Because you could buy a lot of vegan canned foods and soups and all these things on the shelf. Your bill will be very small, but then it's just very unhealthy, right? So it's just about, for me, what's more important. If you have no problem buying all them expensive name brand clothes, then you should have no problem buying some healthy foods that's going to help you thrive and live longer. And absolutely. Just, you know what I'm saying? Yep. So that's my thing. I know that when I eat fully raw, it is higher. My bill is higher just because of the fruits and stuff. It's by the pound. It weighs more than if I'm eating a lot of potatoes and rice and broccoli and things like that. But I'm okay with that because I know it's going to help me thrive.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. What a brilliant answer. Absolutely. Our health queen is saying health is the real wealth, like long term. What is the cost of not eating healthy, especially living in the States? I don't know how. I mean, in Canada we have free healthcare, right? But like in the States, I'm hearing of, like the cost of what it costs to go into a hospital. And it's like, we got to think of those. Yeah. And the quality of life too. We're investing in ourselves. It's an investment. And I feel like the more fruit we bring into our life too, like we manifest more too. There's like so much opportunities that open up. There's like more abundance that opens up. There's opportunities. Like you and I would never even have connected if it wasn't for this lifestyle. It's like the fruit, the plants have like an intelligence that bring us online, literally like onto this grid almost. Like it's like an activation. So the more we activate ourselves, the more doors open up, the more possibilities are opened up, because we're more connected to nature too, in a sense. So I definitely feel everything you're saying, and it's all about priorities. It costs to drink alcohol, it costs to smoke cigarettes, it costs to drink coffee, like all those things. If we start replacing them with more fruit, then we make it happen. Yeah. And also in all the grocery stores, there's always usually like a discount section. There's always like, with the more ripe fruits, especially if you're juicing and all that. That's what I was doing, or ordering them by the case and just asking for a deal. So there's so many different things that we can do. But yeah, once we make that a priority, then, I mean, I've known people to, even when they were committed to a juice cleanse, ask for donations, like on Facebook. If that's where somebody's at and their health is on the line, their life is on the line, like ask for support. You never know who's going to come in and help you out with pineapples and apples. Like literally, I've seen it happen. So when there's a will, there's a way of doing this. Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like, I just absolutely love everything you're doing. Tell us a little bit more about how, you healing yourself has tapped you into your, highest divine mission. You've come from a completely different background, and you were in marketing, and then you were an actress, and I'm sure all those things like have come into play in your life, right? It's like, it's all part of your heroine's journey. And at what point did you realize, like, oh my gosh, I need to share this with the world. I need to start a podcast, start a YouTube channel, because those things are not easy. Let me just say, to come making videos, like, I mean, I tell you, you look so natural doing it. Like, how do you do it? And I think even anybody who looks so natural, there must still be that element of fear that comes into play of like, and then we just, like, you've just been breaking through then so many different layers of that fear of showing up and putting yourself out there, being vulnerable. Like, how has that been like? That's a lot of questions. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a lot of questions. Give me the question again. What's the
like? When did you realize you were meant to share this with the world and be a woman of influence?
Okay, so I've had a YouTube channel for like 10 years, but for the first, I would say 5 to 7 years, I was only posting my acting stuff on there and like my praise dancing, because I used to praise dance. In case you don't know what praise dance is, everyone, it's just it's derived from church. It's like a dance group, but through church, and you're dancing to like gospel music. So it's like a graceful movement / interpretive type of movement. So I was dancing for years, and then I did a lot of solo stuff. I would dance at like block parties, funerals, weddings, fashion shows, everywhere, juvenile hall. So it's a form of ministry. So anyway, my point was that I was only posting like my praise dancing on my YouTube and then my acting. And then about 4 years ago, I think, is when I started posting content about my plant-based, just posting what I eat and things like that. But I didn't really get serious. Okay, let me say, started off with that. Then I started interviewing people 3 years ago, 2020, when COVID started. Everybody was like doing all this stuff online after COVID, right? It just was like, I've been watching these people on YouTube. I want to do that too. I want to interview people too. I'm like loving watching them. So why not do it? So I started doing that 3 years ago, but I didn't have a name for my podcast. It wasn't so structured. It wasn't like every week. It wasn't like, it was just kind of like I would just find people on an interview, and it was just, just kind of on call, I guess. And then I stopped for a few months and took a break. And then I started back up again on September of, what month is this? September of last year. I started back up with season 2. But this time I had a name. I was inspired by my friend Vegan Queen and her and Twixie. They had a show, but they had a name. And I was like, you know what? I need to have a name so it could be just more official. So I started back up in September with my podcast, season 2. And I, continue interviewing people because I love to talk to people and find out about their journeys, just like you like to. I like to know why they went plant-based. I want to know what the benefits were in their healing, if they lost weight, things like that. I love to share that. So once I started that in September, then I really started getting more serious about my content and sharing my content, because it's just something I really love to do. Like, it's just a passion. Aside from acting, I love to be on the camera, sharing and just being me. So I guess that's when it really started picking up, is like in September of 2022. So I started my plant-based IG page a little over a year ago. So I just had a regular lifestyle page at first, and I used to post my plant-based content on there too. But I started seeing people don't really care. That was my regular page. A lot of people followed me just because of the artist stuff, because I'm an actress too. And I started figuring out that people don't really care about that content. So my husband gave me the idea to start a plant-based page. I started that a little over a year ago. And I like it because it's just like that focus is just my plant-based content. So whoever follows me on there, I know they're following me because they like that content, as opposed to my other page. People will follow me because we have the acting in common, or they met me at a fashion show or whatever, but then I'm posting all this plant-based stuff and they can care less about it. So now I have this page where I can dedicate and focus on plant-based content. And it's been growing. Not that I have a lot of followers. I don't have a lot of followers, but I have like 2,500 now or something like that. And
For a year?
In September, last September, October, November, December, January, February. In 5 months, I had 333 followers last September. And
wow.
now I have not, again, it's not a lot, but I'm still proud of my little growth.
Yeah.
Now I have like 2,500-ish.
Yes.
So I've gotten about 2,200 new followers, and I'm thankful to all my followers because I love how engaging everyone is, and I love sharing and so that's kind of how I got started. My husband has been a very big help because he's given me all these ideas. Like he also helped me so much with my podcast. Like I just want to be basic and just do I'm not basic. I just want to do a regular live and interview people. Now he got me all stressed out because he got me having a mic and a mixer. When I do my podcast, I got to do a sound check. I got to set up my little studio every week. And all that is making me nervous. Then he decided he wanted to create an intro for me, like a music intro and an outro. Like he brought that to me. And I'm like, he keeps adding all this stuff and it's stressing me out. I'm like, I don't want to do all this. I just want to interview people. But he's been a very good support and just helping me, with my podcast and stuff. He really believes in me and stuff. And it falls in line with my undergrad degree. So about my master's, but my undergrad degree was mass communications with the option in broadcasting. Back then I wanted to be like a newscaster and all that. And that went out the window. But then hosting, hosting, I don't mind hosting. So it's like I'm using my degree. I'm not getting paid for it, but I'm using my degree in this sense. Thank you, Vegan Queen. She said she's proud of me. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how it all came about. And I'm also using my marketing degree, my master's, because I'm marketing myself, I'm promoting myself, for my podcast and just all my plant-based content and all that. So it would just be nice if I can get paid for everything, but I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I love it. And if I one day end up monetizing, I will not be mad at it.
Exactly. It will happen. It's already happened, because you have the heart and soul you're bringing into it, and I think like that's the best way to attract abundance is to be and do what brings you the most joy. And I could feel it. I could feel you're so passionate and your heart is so into it, and you're getting me excited and giving me ideas too, because we have these expanders in our life that show us what's possible. And like you were saying too about the people that you were watching on YouTube, and you're like, wait a minute, hey, if they could do that, then I could do that too, and it's like that's what we're all here for. It's to inspire each other and to get each other excited and enthusiastic. And I love one of my questions I was going to ask about your family around you. How do they feel about everything that you're doing? How do they support you? And I think it's so great that you have a supportive husband. Was he did he transition to plant-based? How is he and those around you? Did they do they have questions? And how do you interact with your surroundings? Because my people are not vegan at all. My dad is plant-based, but everybody else did not, and it's been a bit of a struggle. How has it been for you?
Yeah, I'm in this alone. My husband is he's not plant-based in general, but he eats a lot of plant-based foods. He's probably eating plant-based 4 or 5 days a week, and then he'll have a couple of days where he's eating meat. So I would like to say that I inspired that. No. But
yes, of course. Of course.
I am thankful that he is okay eating plant-based, and when I cook, I make plant-based things and he's down to eat it. I'm so thankful I don't have that kind of a husband who's like, I can't live without no meat. Because I'd be like, bye. Well, this ain't going to work. Yeah. But he's very open to eating plant-based, and he likes to cook, so he likes to make plant-based dishes. Sometimes he'll cook and, cook for me. So I like that he's open, even though he's not fully plant-based. Now, as far as my friends and family, Mm-mm. Mm. I'm in there alone. You
Yeah.
know, I have a lot of online
Yeah.
friends, right? That, I'm coming into the community where I have a lot of online friends, but like as far as people I hang out with, I'm the only one that eats like this. As far as family stuff, I'm the only one that eats like this. Certain things I go to, I might bring my own snacks or might bring things to eat because I don't know what they're going to have. I just always try to have backup for the most part. If I'm going to my sister's house or mom's house, I'll be bringing, if I'm going to be there like 8 hours, I'm going to bring some breakfast, some snacks, lunch, you know what I mean? So I try to stay prepared as much as I can. Certain gatherings or things I go to, I might bring some stuff. But if it's like a concert or something like that, I'm not going to bring stuff, but I might go to a restaurant before and get something to eat. So I try to prepare that way. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of hangout friends that eat like me. I did when I was living in LA. I missed that. I was there for 3 years because I was acting out there for 3 years. And everybody I hung out with ate like me. And I missed that. That was fun because every restaurant we went to was a vegan restaurant. Whereas here, if I'm going out to restaurants, I always have to compromise, and go places. And I usually always find something that I can eat, but sometimes it's not fun. Like if it's just an American restaurant, it's probably just going to be some French fries and a salad. But if I go to a cultural restaurant, that's when it's a little more vegan friendly, like, Italian, Eritrean, Mexican, Thai, Japanese. Those kind of places are a lot more vegan friendly and fun versus like an American restaurant or a steakhouse.
The salad, the salad is like this big.
Yeah.
Lettuce and that's it.
I'm like, bruh, come on now. Y'all got to come with the come on. Now, and salad dressings are what make or break, because even if they have this salad, but then they have these whack salad dressings, it's just like, come on. Sometimes I brought my own a few times, but yeah.
That's amazing. I've done that too. Definitely. I love you touch on something really important. And this is like one of the greatest advice that I give my clients and I give in the community as well. I share when people are like struggling. I always say like, be prepared. You got to take care of your own needs. Like if that means because you're driving a truck that you have to like bring a cooler full of ice. Somebody was asking me, I drive a truck and it's hard to keep the fruit fresh. I'm like, you bring a cooler, fill it with ice, and you put the fruit in there, you put your smoothie, and you just figure it out. Always take care of yourself. Like first thing is the most important. You go to somebody's house, and I had to learn this the hard way too, going to like people's houses and they have nothing available to feed you, and then you're upset, you're grumpy, and it could create a lot of problems. So just bring your own food and always have like little snacks on you, if you have seeds or nuts or even dried fruits or something like that, so that you're always like ahead of the hunger game and you're not like ever falling into a state of like complete paralysis and like, oh my God, just give me whatever.
Right. But like yesterday, I had a dentist appointment and I didn't know like how long I was going to be there. And then I just didn't know anything. So I brought like 8 tangerines and I ended up being there longer than I thought. And I'm so glad I brought that because if I don't eat soon after I start feeling a certain way, I start feeling nauseous. So I was there a long time, and then I had to wait for all these quotes because I got to get some freaking crowns and stuff because I grind my teeth at night, and I done messed up my teeth, even though I wear a night guard. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I was there waiting a long time, right? And I started getting that feeling I need to eat. Thank God I brought those tangerines. I had 8 of them, and I was sitting there just eating them, waiting for them to come back. And if I wouldn't have brought that, I would have got that feeling, and I would have started feeling sick. So it's like I always have to stay one step ahead of the game. On Sunday, I went to church. I brought my breakfast, and I was eating it on the way to on the way to church in the car, and I brought some snacks for after church. You know what I'm saying? I try to plan the best I can and bring stuff just to make sure I'm ahead of the game as much as I can. You got to plan. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get it.
I saw a comment coming in earlier about they wish that this interview could continue on longer.
Oh,
Thank you so much. I'm enjoying this too so
thank
much.
you guys.
I love how
Thank you for everyone for being
colors two
here.
are matching. I was like, I was writing something else, and I said, no, bring in the red. Like your green, it's like everything is popping with my jungle.
I like your green going with my green.
Yes, this is such a beautiful energy you have. I also I had another question that's not coming to me. Oh yes, okay. So to anybody who's watching this, who's never had a plant-based day in their life, but they're curious, they're interested in this lifestyle, what advice would you give them to get started? You know, like they have no idea anything and they're scared, you know, like people are afraid. It's like, oh, I want to try it, but like I when I first heard about this, I was like, I cannot live without meat. And I just want to say that happens to a lot of people
Yeah,
that transition to this lifestyle. Like we've all felt that, like, oh, I can never do that, but then we just kind of do.
right.
What advice would you give to them?
So I say to people that I know everybody cannot go overnight cold turkey, and that's okay. Transition if that's what you need to do. So if you really have a heart to be plant-based, start off small steps. So start off with one vegan meal a day for breakfast, or whatever meal you decide. Do one meal a day. I always try to tell people to focus on the whole foods instead of going out and buying all the, because people, when they want to go vegan, they want to start off with all the fake meats and processed meats. If you need that to transition, that's okay. But if you can avoid it, try to focus on whole foods for that one vegan meal. Beans, rice, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, salads, smoothies. One meal. Or do that for 2-3 weeks. Get adjusted to that one meal, vegan meal. Okay. Then after 2-3 weeks, go up to 2, and then go up to 3. That's one way you can transition, or you can do it a different way and eliminate certain animal products at a time. Start off with no eggs, no dairy first, right? For as long as you need. Then go to, I'm gonna cut out chicken and turkey. Or no. Let's do pork and beef. Okay, let's do that next. And then turkey and chicken. Like, transition, take your time. There's no rush because you're doing this for you. Unless you have some medical condition that you need to hurry up and heal, then you need to go cold turkey. But if you have time, transition, take your time. There's no rush. You're not doing this for anybody but yourself. So if you need to take your small steps, you do that, okay? Because you want to set yourself up to succeed. And then people always feel like they're failing just because they might end up eating something. It's not a fail. It's just you made a decision to do something that you don't want to do. And that's okay. Just pick back up. But yeah, take your time, transition slowly, focus on those whole foods I mentioned. Let the junk and the processed foods be a minimal part, because you don't want to start your plant-based life just eating junk all the time. If you need to do a little bit, that's okay, but don't let that be the bulk of your, eating the Beyond Meats and the chickenless chickens, all the time. A little bit is okay, but just focus on whole foods, transition, small steps, and gradually, and just keep on going until you get to where you want to get, which is fully plant-based. And there's nothing wrong with taking your time. If it takes you 6 months to get there, let it be 6 months, but you'll be doing a good job. You know what I'm saying? So that's my tip. Yes, that's my tip.
Yes, I love everything that you're saying. And also, if we want people to feel really good on this lifestyle, like those foods aren't going to really make you feel optimal. They're okay, like what you're saying, for the transition, but always make sure to have it. Like I tell people, like have a big salad next to it, or like always make sure to have those whole foods next to that, transition foods that you're having, so that you still get the benefits, but if you're just having like, breads and the fake meats and all that, you're not going to feel good, and you're going to be like, this vegan thing doesn't work, like I was feeling better with the meat. So you're going to go back to it. And also a point I wanted to touch on, like a lot of people say this, like when they they go plant-based for a while, but they're feeling bad. They're experiencing detox symptoms. They're feeling weak. They're getting headaches. They're getting cold. And, you know, that's the natural part of the healing process in a lot of cases, right? It's like the toxins are stored in the body, and then they're going to start coming out as we eliminate those mucus forming, the mucus forming and acidifying foods. And so it's a journey. But then they're like, oh, but then I went back to eating meat and I felt so much better. So I have something to say about that. If anybody is watching and had that experience, it's probably because you have parasites. It's probably because there's a lot of parasites inside the body, especially if we're coming from a meat and a lot of fish and those kinds of foods. And I had them too. I know that experience. So if you feel like you're going to feel better going back on the meat, it's probably just because the parasites are being satisfied. But it's not necessarily because you need the meat. Like, we literally don't need meat to thrive. We literally do not need it to be alive. It actually is very destructive to the body, and it backs up the system and all of that. So really, to focus on the parasite cleansing is super important. And the best thing to do that is fruit and herbs. Herbs could help too. There's superfoods. There's like so many different things that we could do but like the more you cleanse out the parasites, the less you're going to feel like those cravings for the meat and the cheese. So yeah, just keep detoxing. And like you said, we're here for the long term. We're here for the long run. It could take many, many months and sometimes years, but listen, that time is going to pass anyway, right? So either we're feeding ourselves life-giving, nourishing, cleansing foods, or we're putting in foods that are bringing us closer to our demise and closer to like quickly aging, and you know what I mean, and like just really dehydrating us. Like, that's kind of how I look at food too now. Like, is this hydrating or is this dehydrating me? And there's foods that are very hydrating, and there's foods that are very dehydrating, and that's how we end up, like, I looked older when I was 25, no lie, than when I am, like, I'm 40 years old right now. People are like, you're 40? Like, are you kidding me? Because, like, so many people at 40 are already, like, looking, a certain way. And I'm like, well, like, I looked worse when I was 25. I had more wrinkles. I was feeling tired. I had so many symptoms. So, yeah, if we want to stay young and youthful and just full of energy, like, this is the way to go. There's no other way around it. We got to eat living foods to be living kings and queens, and like really rise up to. And I love your journey. I've seen so many similarities with my own journey, and I never thought I would be even making videos or like sharing, but like we feel so good that it becomes like a responsibility, right? It's like a calling that is stronger than us to. It's
so wonderful. It just brings me joy. Yeah. It brings me joy. And, like, I'm going through it. Y'all wouldn't know from the videos, but I am going through it, okay? But doing these videos, doing my podcast, doing stuff like that, it just helps me feel better mentally. And it just, like, it just really makes me feel good. So, like, it helps me get through these tough times I'm dealing with. You know what I mean? Like, it's a passion, and it's a purpose, and it's definitely helpful.
And you're great at it. You're so good. You're so real. Like, people could really connect to you on a soul level, and they could see themselves through your journey. And you have a really very humble way of explaining things. You have a very you know what I mean? Like, we want to listen to you.
Oh,
yeah, we do. And I really, really appreciate you. And if there's anything I can do to support you, I would love to be there for you. And definitely, like, you're going to start getting paid, and not just like a little bit, like in a big way. There's like so many different opportunities. There's like affiliate marketing. There's like everything is becoming affiliate marketing now, like once we grow our channel. I already approached Nama, but like you can approach Nama and be like, hey, I want to, represent your juicer. And like there's so many different ways of creating collaborations as well. And from these interviews, you don't know what's going to happen. This is like you're investing in the bank for when the time is right, that all the money's coming through. And me too, I'm the same way, you know what I mean? I'm just like doing this, YouTube and all of that, and it's like, okay, it's just trusting the process and trusting the natural course of things.
What's funny is that, like, we're sitting here having a conversation, it's always funny when I've been following people. I just started following Instagram, but I've been on your YouTube. I've been subscribed to you for a long, long time. I don't remember how long. I would say 2 years at least. At
I
least
haven't had it for that long. Probably like
so
about a year and a half. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A year and a half?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's been at least a year and a half then. And so it's always so fun. Just that's how I felt about interviewing like Raw Food Romance and her husband and just everybody.
Yeah.
Raw Intuition, everybody. I've been watching y'all for so long. And then like Raw Food Romance and Nate and Raw Intuition a lot longer because they've got their channels longer. But it's just like, and then I finally get to meet them. It's so cool. You know what I mean? So I like your story. I mean, you have an amazing story. God is good. Okay. Let me just say that y'all don't know her story. Go watch her YouTube because God done brought her through some stuff. Hallelujah. Deliverance. Can I say deliverance? Can I say healing? Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
But anyway, yes. Praise God for your journey and your story because you can help so many people. So
You're inspiring me so much to step into my power more. You know, it's not easy to come on and share about addictions and eating disorders and like all these things, but I realize too that, you know, we never know who we're going to inspire by sharing our journey, and that's what it's all about. It's like maybe there's that one individual that doesn't even comment or doesn't even say nothing, but they're watching from the shadows and they decide like, oh, I'm going to do a juice cleanse, or I'm going to, you know, adopt this lifestyle, or I'm going to go do a plant medicine ceremony, and that's the thing that completely changes their life, you know. So yeah, it's really important to just keep sharing and sharing from our heart. And you know, the wound is where the light enters us, and I truly have seen that. You know, whatever it is that anybody is struggling with, like that is your life purpose too. Like you're meant to alchemize that. You're meant to take that and turn it into gold and into power. We all have our struggles that we go through, and then it's like God just, once we surrender to Him and to the path, and we really take that next step and work through people too. Like God works through people, you know, he works like through messengers, and we are like all messengers of His word, and He just really wants us to return back to nature. And I wanted to say this too, that I love how you're doing interviews too, because you never know who's gonna click with, like, you know, we all like have more affinities with certain personalities, or we all, you know, because of our stories and our traumas, like we don't always resonate with everybody. So bringing on and like more people to share this message is really powerful, because then there might be that one thing that somebody says, and there might be that other thing, and then people will just piece it all together. It's like planting seeds, and it's just so amazing everything you're doing. You're lighting up the world. You are changing lives and really inspiring so many people to do this, and that they can do it. You're empowering us all to do it, and you're empowering me to reach out to more people too, to do interviews. And I've been a little bit like, you know, playing shy, and I'm shy and this and that, but like I do love doing it too. And you're so powerful.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you, Stacia. She said I'm an inspiration. And yes. Stacia also said she's transitioning, and she stopped me, and she feels so much better, and her health is so much better. Yay! Good for you, Stacia.
Congratulations. That's incredible. Yeah. And also, if anybody would like to come into, we have a community too on Facebook if anybody's interested. It's called Kings and Queens of Raw. Check it out. I started this community because I was looking for friends too that were doing this, and I felt so alone as well. So we need tribe, we need community, we need support. So it's really important to have that. And tell us a little bit, again, your podcast. Where can we find you on Sundays at 4 p.m. if anybody's interested in?
It's I go IG live on Sundays at 4 p.m. It's called Plant Based with Nicole. And tomorrow I'll be interviewing Tribe by Noir. He is a nutritionist coach, a high raw nutritionist and fitness coach. I love his content. He has like 130 something thousand followers. So a lot of people love him. He has all these great videos and content. So I'm so excited to interview him tomorrow. So yeah, catch me every Sunday, 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. EST on IG Live. There's some times where I might take a break, and if I do, then I'll just put that in, you know, in the flyer or something. No show for this week, but I put the flyer up every week on Wednesdays, so just check me out. And then I ended up putting it on YouTube as well, although I don't get as many views on YouTube as I do on the Instagram for that, so it's all good. It's in its process of growing. My YouTube channel, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, just, stay consistent. I think that's the key, is like the ones who make it, really big are the ones that stay consistent and show up even if nobody shows up. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's just like showing up because you made that commitment, and it can only grow. It can only spread. And there is such a movement too. People are more ready for it too. Like we talk about it now. I feel like people are more receptive, with everything that's been happening with COVID. People are like, oh, maybe I need to like look at my internal terrain. And what is this germ theory terrain model? Like, there's like more awareness around it. So I think we're coming in at a really perfect time to be sharing this information. And you've been going through your journey of awakening. Your dark nights of the soul have passed, and not to say there's no problems that ever happened, but I feel too, like, correct me if I'm wrong, that we're more ready to tackle those issues being in a healthy temple. It's like the mind can operate better.
And let me just say something about that, about, we're not like immune from everything just because we eat plant-based, because my body is so used to eating plant-based. I've been eating plant-based for 12 years. Yes, when I originally went plant-based, it helped heal the reason I went plant-based. But now that I've been plant-based so long, if I need to heal something, I have to go up a step. So I might have to go fully raw. You know what I mean? And people who, like, if I'm having some inflammation or just some pain or something, I have to go up to fully raw. And people who eat fully raw, if they have something that happens, they might have to go up to all fruits. Or people who eat all fruit might have to go up to juicing. So for me, it doesn't keep me from getting different ailments and things like that. But what I do is I just go up one step further, because my body's so used to eating just plant-based that, you know what I mean, I have to go up a notch, because it has to kind of like shock my body. So I just wanted to say that, because I forgot what you just said. It made me want to say that. Like,
okay.
But but I definitely encourage everyone, if you're interested in going plant-based, you don't put off tomorrow what you could do today. So, like I said, transition, start off with one vegan meal a day, or eliminate different food group, animal products one at a time until you get to where you want to get. And when you said you were 40, I was like, oh, look at you, you go, girl. That's how I feel about, because I'll be 49 this year, and I feel like I'm still 32.
Oh my gosh, no way.
That's what I said. I was like, no way. I'm going to be 49 this year, which means I'm going to be 50 next year. That don't even sound right. That's not, no, I don't receive that. No. I still feel so young and free, and just like, it don't feel right to say I'm going to be 50 next year. That's crazy. Nah, we ain't going to claim that. Mm-mm.
I love it. Exactly. It's like a true testimony that age it's just a number, you know what I mean? Like, we could be very chronically ill at 20, and we could be like thriving at 80, just like jumping around and running and doing all the things depending on how we treat our bodies. So I can't believe you're 49 years old. No way.
Not yet. 48.
Oh, 48. Okay, turning 49. Oh, okay,
yeah.
Sounds good.
But
do you offer
that's how I feel too. Thank you.
Yeah. No, definitely. Do you offer any private coaching if anybody wants to join you, or like get some support?
I'm not an official coach or anything, but I do have a lot of people hit me up in my inbox about just questions they have, and I try to answer it as best as if I know the answer, I'll answer. If I can help encourage someone or guide them, certain ways about how to start plant-based, I do, but I'm not an actual like coach or calling myself a coach or anything. But I do have a lot of people hit me up, and I try to give them as much information, or ideas or encouragement, or just like giving them a push on how they can get started. So feel free to inbox me. If I can answer it, I will. If I won't, I'll refer you to someone that I know who can.
Sounds good. Well, you're an amazing coach, and I'm sure a lot of people have expanded so much in just this interview. So thank you so much for everything you do, for your courage and your brilliance and your light that you're bringing to us all. I really, really appreciate you, and I would love to do another one like this anytime. Reach out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone that was here, that's here now, and that will watch later.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. It's nice to be interviewed because I've been interviewed only about 5 times, but I'm usually the one interviewing everyone. So I'm on season 3 of my podcast. So it's nice for me to be interviewed.
Oh, I love it. Oh, well, you're welcome here anytime. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who joined us today. Sending you so much love and blessings on your amazing healing journey. And remember, you're not alone.
Yes.
Yes.
And God bless you all. And God bless you, Queen Aline. Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you so much. All right. I'll see you all soon. Bye.
See you on the gram.